Or okay, so what? To wipe California off the map? I didn't even read the title till right now. Crap.
In Orange County,
Los Angeles. What's
another
this about?
explosive night in Southern California as protests continue over immigration raids. Police and crowds facing
This
off
is
in Los
wild,
Angeles
man.
and Orange
This is
County.
immigration.
President Trump is mobilizing
This
an
is
additional
wild.
2,000 National Guard members to help protect federal buildings in L.A. Now, that doubles his initial deployment. Also, 700 U.S. Marines are headed to L.A. The Marines are from an infantry battalion based in
a lot.
29 Palms. The LAPD says more than 70 people were arrested over the
That's where my
weekend.
friend
And
went
the
to go
Trump
train
administration's
recently.
decision to put more boots on the ground is being met by strong
Boots in the
criticism from
ground.
LA leaders.
Who've
boots in the ground.
completely lost control of their city at this point? What are they complaining about? This
Lost their city, dude. That city is literally like on some division shit. Like it's just straight P, and I don't mean PVE where they're all working together. I mean PvP. That shit is the dark zone from the division right now. It's just straight mayhem right now. Is that why the division's coming back? Because you know, all this shit's going on in the city. They're just like, fuck it. This is what people like. Let's just put on a new DLC for division.
There's not going to be a city left unless responsible parties step in and send in the troops.
You're looking at least four different
100%.
locations this morning showing a
Like, they've
wild
gotta lay
night
down,
of
you know, the
looting in
biblical
downtown
It's
LA.
over.
Overall, there were
Hold on,
7
Leviticus.
stores that were hit. Many
Yeah.
of those stores targeted
you call
were on
yet?
Broadway.
Yeah, early this morning, right now, what
Look,
we're dealing
that's
with
what
is
I emailed
up, it
initially
just leave like
clear
a
scenes. A
voicemail.
lot of the looters have left, but now all that's left is a lot of
I
glass
see.
and a
And
lot
then
of
they're gonna
repair
go
work
in.
to be done. What you can
That's
see here is people
crazy.
starting to repair
Give
this
us stuff.
Adidas store, as most of that was kicked in.
You wanna
Two of the
leave
doors
one
actually
last part in
shattered
the
and brought
office,
to the
dude?
ground.
This
Now
is
this is
insane.
being put up. The plywood
I
here.
guess these
Okay.
green shoes
Hey,
right here were the
photo.
wrong size. But is it any
Yeah,
wonder
dude.
why we
I
need
guess
troops
now
sent
I'll
to this
have something to
place?
celebrate
Look at the
on
store's
Saturday.
completely cleaned out.
We'll be getting some new things.
Oh, that's nuts. Look at these guys. That's what it looked like
That was-
before. Look
yeah.
at all the stuff in the
We know
windows.
overnight the Adidas store, a
yeah,
jewelry
after, I
store,
gotta ask you
Apple
stuff
store,
about
shoe
Saturday.
palace, and a pharmacy have been broken
Except I'm done
into
recording
and
this shit.
looted.
Wow.
Most of the stores on
Apple.
Broadway
Wait on me, Fade.
have been looted. I mean, a lot of them are multiple stores that
it's only
were
a
the
12-minute
majority of
vid.
them have been on Broadway.
Look at that.
More buildings and police vehicles have also been defaced.
Yeah, I saw that actually, chat recently. Like the Apple store getting looted, bamboozled. Like you're kind of stupid. Like you're just asking to get caught. Like to be honest, like at this point now you're dragging. Like I get, you know, well I don't get, but I would understand, you know, people, you know, looting 7-Elevens and you know like clothing stores and stuff like that. You know, shit that can't be tracked. But dude, you're dragging it now. An iPhone, you know, electronic, you know, stuff that can be tracked. Like, bro, you really think Apple is just gonna take that loss and it's over? You think they're not gonna use the full extent of the law, track down all the phones that were stolen, probably use, you know, like, you know, Apple tags, and you know, either send you the bill and stick it on you, or you know, they'll sue you or something, or send like a warrant depending on how many you stole. You know, send like a warrant out for your
Mayor
arrest with
Bass
the
This
will
cops.
place
have
is
a
over.
You know?
briefing at the Emergency Operations Center today
Not a great
to
plan.
update us all on protests as Marines are on the way.
Let's stop this before we hear from the mayor of this place that supports the protesters. Am I the only one who thinks that the Marines should have been sent
Don't
in
support it.
sooner?
You're
Did it
aiding
really
and
have to
abetting.
get to this point? This is insane. And without a real response and some actual authority here, this could
Insane in
spread
the
to other parts of the
membrane.
country.
You can't
Insane
possibly
in the
be
membrane.
supporting immigrants and vandalize our city. And understand that if you do that, and it is 100% unacceptable, you will be arrested. And it might not happen that day. So don't think because you went home that night that you are free. There's a lot of videotape, there's investigations that will take place, and you will
Oh,
be
she's
held
talking
accountable
tough.
and frankly need to be separated from
Yeah,
the people who
talking
are
real
really
tough.
fighting on behalf of our immigrant community.
What? That was like
Yeah,
some
who-
double
who
speak
are
right
really
there.
fighting?
The violent protesters, they're not actually fighting for the immigrant community. I guess they're only fighting
Guys
for
are
the
actually
immigrant
fighting.
community
They
when
don't
they're
even
out there
know what they're
attacking
saying.
law enforcement, because that's why we need the Marines to come in. This is what supporting immigrants looks like to these people. This is okay because they're not looting a store. That's what they're telling us. This is terrible.
Bunch of action plans.
This is awful, man.
We want some more. We want some more. We want some more.
So this is fine. just don't go loot the Apple Store. If you loot the Apple Store, we're coming for you. But if you do this, well, it's just the fault of the president and the Trump administration. That's why you're out here attacking the troops.
man.
But the Apple Store, oh
Just
no!
absolute backwards thinking.
Slamming the American flag on the ground. That's American behavior right there, to desecrate your own country's flag. This is terrible, man. But this is standing up for immigrants, apparently. Obviously
This is
illegal
standing up for
immigrants.
immigrants. Yeah.
And we wonder why they're rolling out the heavy machinery. We wonder why the Marines are on the way. But you know something? The parties that support this type of activity, they're very upset with it, because if
They
law
want
and order
this shit,
comes
dude.
here,
They love
their
it.
power structure that they have
They're
built.
relishing it, dude. I mean, like, bro, that's literally what the last administration tried to do. They literally just tried to flood the voter pools with illegals that would obviously vote for them, because, you know, they're the ones letting them in here to begin with. So obviously, like, what? Why do you think they were just making it so you didn't even need to show ID or anything to vote? Like, what the fuck? And nobody found that suspicious? Okay.
On a criminal foundation is going to completely crumble, and that's why there's so much pushback. And as you're about to see, the governor of California, he could get arrested.
You know, Tom, I think it's great. Gavin likes
Yeah, as he
publicity,
fucking
but I think it'll
should.
be a great thing. He's done a terrible job.
Newsom responding again, calling that an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism.
Oh yeah, he'd know about
I asked him
authoritarianism.
about that.
If Gavin Newsom crosses whatever threshold it is and violates the law, do you have the authority to arrest him or Mayor Karen Bass?
You know, if he broke the laws like any other U.S. citizen, we'll ask the Attorney General to investigate, and they'll prosecute. Tom Homan's not going to prosecute.
Spontaneous clashes began Friday as federal agents conducted multiple operations in and around Los Angeles. On Saturday,
It literally
protests
just looks like a
peaceful.
third world country over
So
there.
crazy.
Agents were seen
Mostly
staging in
peaceful.
nearby Paramount, California.
Yeah.
By
Yeah,
Sunday,
they're mostly just
This is
convoy of
mostly
heavily armed
peaceful.
camouflage troops arrived.
totally
We
tubular,
watched as the
bro.
clashes intensified as the day progressed.
Totally
Mostly
zen.
peaceful. Clashes intensified with a motorcycle on the ground here. Somebody getting arrested. Yeah, the epitome of peace and
Boots in the ground.
law-abiding demonstrations.
Just moments ago, there's some projectiles being thrown. Just moments ago, a motorcycle seemed to try to break through the police skirmish line.
This is
And now
terrible.
you can hear all those flashbangs going off. Police are trying to push those protesters back, firing those less than lethals at very
Yeah,
close range.
sending them
And you can
to
see those
Tum Tum
projectiles
Sahur.
being thrown over. Now that motorcycle is being hauled in here. Looks like he's being arrested.
Yeah, he should
LAPD's
be.
chief overnight saying they may need more help.
We are overwhelmed as far as the number of people out there engaged in this.
Wait a second.
nuts.
How can law enforcement be overwhelmed? I thought these were peaceful protests. This
Yeah,
looks
stop
peaceful.
lying.
I
They're
see
overwhelmed. They're
pieces of these
peaceful,
police
right? They're-
vehicles scattered
they're
throughout
on
the
some
road.
Minecraft
These guys aren't
villager
even going to
shit.
have a police force left if the Marines don't show up.
Type of activity and the type of things that they're doing.
And thousands
This is
today
terrible,
gathering
man.
peacefully.
This is like a
calling
guerrilla
for the
army
release of a
right here that
prominent
just shows
union leader
up.
arrested Friday during one of those workplace raids.
A lot of us
Almost
are
like a-
American citizens.
almost like
So
a
then what are we
rebellion or an
working for?
insurrection.
What is the American dream? It doesn't
To
even
applaud
exist.
the
when
Rebel
you're kicking
Alliance
people out
and
of
a
the street.
traitor.
Wait a second.
David, just want to give you a sense of where we are. This is the federal building in downtown Los Angeles, and there are probably a couple hundred.
I would say the American dream does exist for people who do not engage
your
in
lack of faith is
anti-American
insane.
behavior. If you're out here
I
throwing
find
your
your
own
lack of
country's
faith
flag on the
disturbing.
ground, stepping on it, attacking
Oh, yeah,
police
that's
when you
what it
should
was.
be
I
at
find your
work
lack
or
of
being
faith
productive in some
disturbing.
manner, you're not going to experience the American dream. Your
Power
dream
too
is going to be a
powerful for my
jail
computer
cell.
master.
But apparently the Marines are going here specifically not to act as law enforcement personnel. Yes, they'll be doing some of that, but
Dude,
their
I've been
goal is going to
grinding
be to
One Piece.
protect federal property.
Tell you that the National Guard is
That's
stationed
enough.
here around federal buildings. We're just outside the detention
Finally.
center. You can see them there. This federal
This is
building
where they're
really
gonna be
became
going.
a focal point for protesters after it emerged that ICE detainees were being held
minute
here,
7 of
and
12.
now hundreds
I'll ask
of
about what
Marines are
Jason's
expected
say.
to join the National Guard under Trump's orders as tensions continue
worry,
escalating.
Chad, I'm not
Take a
gonna
look.
spoil
About
nothing.
700 U.S.
Here
Marines
they
from the
come.
2nd Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment, out of 29 Palms received weekend orders and are on the way, expected to arrive this morning. And although they're trained for close combat, officials say these Marines won't be on the front lines. Instead, they'll be focused on crowd control and de-escalation. Those are skills that they've been trained in specifically for this
De-escalation.
mission. That, according to U.S. Northern Command, which confirmed that those Marines will support the more than 2,000.
Okay, the only problem I have with this is that if the Marines have rules of engagement that hamper their ability to do the job that they're trained for, this could put them in danger. Of course, we don't want protesters or soldiers to get injured. We want this whole thing over. We want peace. But we certainly don't want the Marines to be put in a no-win situation.
But it sounds like these Marines have trained for the role, and we know the president respects the troops, which means he's not sending them into a situation that's going to get the best of them.
National Guard troops already activated across the area. And late yesterday, the Pentagon said it's mobilizing an additional 2,000 National Guard troops under President Trump's order. And that now pushes the number of military personnel to more than 4,000.
Like an army.
With growing opposition from Governor Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass, the governor calling the deployment unnecessary, saying it'll only inflame tensions. Now, if we come back out here to our live shot, we've been seeing these National Guard troops checking IDs for employees entering the building. The president's move to activate these National Guard troops marks the first time the federal government has done so without a governor's consent since the 60s. Again,
how do you get the consent of a governor who has already taken the side of the protesters and of the president of Mexico, who is also encouraging them? How are you going to get that guy's consent to restore order? Maybe this is historic, but it has to be done.
Trump and Hegseth jumped from 0 to 60, bypassing law enforcement expertise and evaluation. They threw caution to the wind and sidelined strategy in an unnecessary and inflammatory escalation.
Okay, the only people who are being inflammatory and who are escalating things here are the rioters, who are the ones doing the attacking, and the attorney generals like this guy.
Like, I don't see anybody from ICE, you know, throwing bricks at civilians or anything. Like, I don't know, bricks of peace, right?
Who won't crack down on their own city. How do you justify allowing your city to burn to the ground? That doesn't make any sense. And here they are saying, oh, Trump's the bad guy.
Want this,
Trump's
dude.
so awful. He's awful for doing this. This is ridiculous.
The very latest information as it relates to those Los Angeles protests. Take a look at your screen. The Associated Press reporting that California officials sued President Donald Trump to roll back the administration's National Guard deployment.
That's like the
saying
fifth time
the
I've heard that
president
today.
trampled
Donnie J.
Trampled over its sovereignty. It's lost its
none
sovereignty.
other than Gavin Newsom. I want to transition and show you the latest from him, courtesy of X. He says, quote, I was just
Courtesy of
informed
X,
Trump
formerly
is
known
deploying
as Twitter.
another 2,000 Guard troops to LA. The first
X,
2,000
formerly known
given
as
no food or
Chingazote.
water. He goes on to say,
Oh
quote, only
my
approximately
goodness.
300
Get
are
out of here. He wants to make it look like Donald Trump is abusing the troops. When it's California that is abusing itself throughout all of this. This is self-inflicted.
Now, as Newsom says this about the commander-in-chief, I want to share with you the very latest from President Donald Trump this Tuesday morning. He says, quote, we made a great decision in sending the National Guard.
It is a great
with
decision.
The violent instigated riots in California.
That's right.
If we had not done so, Los Angeles would have been completely obliterated.
Look, at this point, they might as well just call it Tun 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 Sahur, like, you know, Bombadilli Crocodili, Chalalalero, whatever the hell his name is, Cappuccino Assassino. Oh yeah, you definitely can't forget about Ballerina Cappuccina, La Pregnata del Tun 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 Sahur.
The very incompetent governor,
there you go,
Gavin Newsom, and Mayor Karen Bass should be saying,
Newscum.
thank
Yeah, he's
you,
a
President
Newscum.
Trump. You are
I bet you they'd say thank you, President Trump,
that is
if
arisen.
he only sent the Marines in to protect the Apple Store, because that's the only common ground that we have here. It seems like when big brands get hit by rioters and lose their inventory and have their stores completely cleared out, that gets the mayor all angry. Oh, she doesn't want that. She's gonna find you
don't
if you
burn
do
down the
that,
Apple Store.
because
but,
the
you know,
mayor and
you guys could definitely have the authority to burn down all the other stuff. You know, all like the private, you know, store owners, the what is it called? Your local store, yeah, you all get to burn down their stuff, but Apple, oh nah, dude, that's too far. Now you're crossing the line. Now you're starting to pull out my dick and telling me it's
both
raining.
know that you shouldn't be at the Adidas store looting it. You should use that energy to go and put it into the troops and Marines that are on the way here to stand up for illegal immigration. Is that what's going on here? Is this lawlessness because of the lawless leaders of California? Will the Marines take back California? And are they going to be in a capacity where they can make a difference? Also, here's something to think about. If America were involved in some foreign conflict, would we even have any troops to send over here? I don't know. Let me know. I'll see you in the next video.
Probably not. I mean, we probably would. I mean, to be honest, we probably wouldn't even need to send anything over there. Like, that would just be clipped out like that. All we need is just send like a drone, and that's it, dude. We don't really need to send troops anymore, dude. It's 2025. You know, that era is over. Anyways, I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time with this video. Hopefully you guys like this. Make sure to leave a like and comment on Cash Jordan's video, and then come back to my video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the Kick and the Twitch, and I will see you guys in the next one.